Well, hi, this is Judith Reedy at the Creative Zone, and I am so excited to have you back today. We're going to be doing, I believe, what is going to be the final demo on my Mineral Point painting of the Coltern House, and you're going to see how it magically turned out. I am so excited about it. I am so thrilled to be able to share the entire process and a little bit of the struggle in trying to take a confusing situation and to make it into something that is really clear and decisive and really inviting to that home. Because the home is a beautiful home. It's got kind of a magical quality. It was built in the middle, I believe, of the 19th century. It's one of the oldest homes and probably built in Wisconsin, and because it's in an area of Wisconsin called Mineral Point, Iowa County, in which the very early settlers, miners, lived and worked. And it's actually one of the ways, because they were underground, they were known as badgers underground, and that's why the state of Wisconsin football team is known as the Badgers. So it's a wonderful, and it was primarily settled by Cornish people, which it's kind of funny because in my family, which were settled, some of my family, my stepfather was settled in northern Wisconsin in the Iron Mountain, and they were copper and miners, and he himself wasn't, but his family, some of his family members were, and they had some of the same food. I think they were from the same background. Basically, they made pasties, which you can find in Mineral Point at their wonderful, I think, Rooster Cafe. At any rate, today we're going to be talking about this home and how we finished it up and how it's really worked and pulled together. So I have to take a message here. John, how is the sound?
Good.
Good, thank you. So anyway, we're going to start. I'll explain my process and then I will show you what we did with the painting. Okay, we have here my process, which involves 4 steps. The idea, and in this case, the idea was given to me by a homeowner who said, you know, nobody's painted my home. Would you take a look at, there's like several pieces of property there, and could you come and take a look at it? And I did, and I started working on it, but the light was not quite what I wanted. And I came back, and I thought, well, I'll come back when the light's better. Came back the next day, and the light was totally changed in a way that it was overcast, and there were no cast shadows. And then finally I came back on the day I had to leave, and the light was perfect, but I had to leave. So I took these photographs and I came back, and I've been working on this process, explaining a little bit about the problems that I was having with the diffusion of little black spots because of the dappled, the tree hanging over. But anyway, I love the dappled light in the front. I like the idea of the house and its cream city type of, or whatever brick. It was kind of a warm beige, off-white. And I did like the arch of the tree and so many features, but it still had a lot of hidden qualities that I wasn't quite excited about. So I had to do drawings. I had to do, in number 2, I had to do sketches. I had to do underpaintings and experiment, getting the perspective right, and then trying to decide where the blocked in areas are going to be. And so finally, after that, I kind of selected what colors I'm going to use, which were primarily, in this case, some yellow. I used both yellow ochre and cadmium yellow light. I used burnt sienna as the underpainting, and I used carbon black which you mix with yellow and you get a beautiful green, and of course white, and a tiny bit of purple, which kind of I mixed with yellow to kind of neutralize it a little bit. So you can see that as I did the painting. So then finally, in step 4, we actually worked on the painting. And in this case, it took several sessions to complete the painting. And today, I believe, will be the final session. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, as you can see from here, I have the photo that I primarily worked from. And there were some wonderful things I liked about the photo. I liked the fact that it had that dappled light in the front. I liked the idea of that strong building. I liked the overcast of the tree coming in from the side. But what I didn't like at all, really, let's see if I can get this. What I didn't like at all was the all the little spots in the light of the painting. And so in the overall painting, it just made it too spotty. And there were not clear areas where you had different values. And so I had to decide how I was going to reconstruct some of the shapes and of those leaves in the tree in order to really give a greater focus to the house and its charm, because it is a charming house. And you can see in the front those horse pitch, I guess they're called, when you tied up a horse. Can't think of what you call it. Anyway, those were original to the house. And then those planters that you see on both sides of the walkway. So let's see how this developed, and you can see the end project here. Well, here we are with this project, and I think I'm going to make a little change. You can see that I've lightened the light and I've added those tree branches. And let's see if I can get some sound here in the output. And if you can hear me, let's see. Okay. So as you can see, I've started to work on the flowers in the front. And I'm real excited about that because they really give a certain amount of happiness to the painting. And I'm starting with some pinks and then some reds and some oranges to kind of give the different colors, and then some whites to give a little bit, and then I'm going to be putting the greens in around that. And it's such an inviting kind of quality of that house that, you know, even though we have all these greens and that kind of warm beige, we still have a really nice look to that. So I'm hoping that you can see how, now sometimes when I put my head in front of there, we lose a little bit of the sharpness, but it'll come back, I'm sure, and you'll be able to see how that is working. So I basically put in, I'm just suggesting the flowers, and then there was a little bit of captured light on the base of those iron planters, and I started working on that. I'm going to be softening that a little bit, but I wanted a little bit of, and then I wanted to exaggerate those hitching posts, that's what they're called, and kind of get you can you imagine horses being hitched to that? And then of course we have our railing going up to the house, and that railing course, really helps you, guides you right up into the doorway of this house. And we're going to be laying that down, which kind of gives you the finishing quality that I'm, kind of inviting you into that house. And then we have the little vertical and you can see how that's coming down, and it's very it kind of gives a sense of completeness and lightens it up. And now we have it's nice and sharp again. I'm going to work a little bit more on the greens in here, give it a little bit more punch. I want it to be more noticeable. I get that red a little bit cleaner and brighter. I'm basically painting it right out of the tube so that you have that inviting quality there. And that dappled light, I may change it, warm it up a little bit more, but I'm putting little touches of yellow too, because of the green yellowish, it sort of turns greenish yellow. I still may add a little salmonish color, but now we're going to change those a little bit, and I'm going to work a little bit on the trees and just do some finishing up and changing some of the edges, give it a little bit more value variation, but not more temperature variation than value, because I want to keep that as a full form and hold it together. I'm really excited about this, totally pleased, and I'm having a little bit of an issue with glare, so I'm turning it up all the time, but it gives you a good sense of how that works and giving you a little bit more. So I tightened up some of the dappled lights so that it's not as spotty, and holding it together so also that you can see the house a little bit better than you could before. And I think that works out really, really well. I wanted to work a little bit more on the base, give it a little more contrast, a little stronger, because now you have this foil that goes all the way around the building, and I want to also lighten that just a little bit, and then I'm going to go over it a little bit more softened light. I put it in, so that leads you back and around and to the kind of working on just, I want to keep that soft, not too, and I think that's pretty much what we have. And so as you can see, I've pretty much finished that painting, and I may put a tad of a sort of a salmon in the flower, because I have that kind of a little bit of a salmon in the building, and not a lot, just a touch. But for those of you who are in my color foundations class, I have for you the new unit, which is on making beautiful flowers, and we're going to be working with creating the color hue, and then changing the hue in another painting of the same, doing the same flower, and keeping the values, but then making that flower again with a different hue, and still creating the form that you want, because that is a skill. One of the things that is so important is to understand how you can manipulate the hue and the value to create a different effect with your painting. And of course, in the foundational course, the course that you take before this, many of you, of course, in color foundations have already taken 7 Essential Simple Tricks, which is this course. It's your basic introduction to color. And in that course, we learn about the basics of color mixing. I give you 6 major colors plus black and white, a warm and cool of each of the 3 primaries, that is. And then I teach you about how to mix colors to keep them intense, like a beautiful, brilliant purple, or a beautiful, clean green, or a clean orange. But then, if you want to make a neutralized purple, green, or orange, I show you how, using different combinations of those primaries, plus sometimes changing them with tints, tones, or shades, or even complements. So with that, you're going to learn so much about color mixing and such a wide variety with that limited palette, travel easy palette, that selection of colors. You'll be able to mix virtually anything. And so I'm very excited about that. I'll also talk to you about color vibration. And you can watch this course you can watch it anytime on your phone, your tablet, or your laptop or desktop. And I want you to know you get all of that for only $7 and it's such a great value. I want you to click on the link below and make sure, if you are a little nervous about color, this is the course that will really help you, clarify things. You'll understand why this didn't work and why it will, and what you can do to solve the problem. And I want you to know you're always welcome back to 2:30 every Tuesday and Thursday when I do a demo. Sometimes they're a half hour, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes. Today, I think it was a little shorter, but we did get finished, and I'm excited to show you and what we did. But I want to show you the painting. Now let's see, here it is. I got it right here. I may be changing the frame, but here it is, all completed. I am so excited for you to see the painting and have an opportunity to realize how difficult it is sometimes when you are given a project to work on, and there are certain project problems visually that you need to clarify in order to create something that is going to be really showcasing the image that your client and you yourself are going to be happy with. So please remember about 7 essential simple tricks to mix color. You can click on the link below and come back again on Tuesday or Thursday around 2:30 and see where I am. Know that you can find me on Judith Reedy, the Creative Zone, on my page, and on my YouTube channel named by the same, and Judith Reedy Visual Artist. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you come back again. And please, if you have any questions, don't neglect to either email me or leave a comment below. Have a